Hello and welcome back to Nolan Financial Radio. My name is Chris McKinney from Nolan Financial Partners. If you'd like more information about what you'll hear during our show today, give us a call at 719-210-4242 or visit us at our website, nolanfinancialpartners.com. And while at our website, click on the radio page to check out our past shows and subscribe to our program on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. So please don't hesitate to reach out to us with questions or to step up face-to-face or even a virtual meeting. So retirement accounts like 401ks and IRAs and others are a critical part of retirement for almost every American. But you don't get to keep everything you contribute to those accounts because of taxes. Income taxes are often due on the distributions you take from your retirement accounts. However, there are strategies that may help you minimize your tax burden when you take withdrawals from your retirement accounts. So remember, discuss all tax-related matters with your qualified tax professional, okay? I'm neither a tax attorney or a CPA. During our show today, we're going to discuss some of those possible strategies. The information for today's episode comes from a U.S. News and World Report article, How to Pay Less Tax on Retirement Account Withdrawals. So if you'd like to read that article yourself, go out to usnews.com. So before we discuss a few ways to potentially save a few bucks on your taxes, let me introduce you to my co-host, Tony Shore, who won't share his queso dip recipe so I can use it to get ready for the next big basketball game. March is approaching soon.
March Madness is upon us, I guess, as they say. I'm not a big sports guy or college guy, basketball guy, but this is the time of year everybody starts talking about the brackets, right? Right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I just know my team's out.
Well, I can't give you my queso recipe. It's a family secret. I mean, you can't. No, I would happily share that. You guys, I know you and Tara, you're the chefs. So you guys make stuff that I couldn't even come close to, you guys.
I don't know about that.
Oh, I do. You guys are kind of foodies. You know what you're doing, and I enjoy that. Enjoy hearing about all the different dishes you make and places you go out to eat too. So that's fun, right?
You know what? Food should be fun, I think. You're going to eat. You might as well eat something that you like. But we're also very careful about not taking in too many carbohydrate style calories, too much sugar, those kind of things.
Yeah.
And then we've learned since doing that, gluten can make us feel bloaty. And
Sure.
so we don't have celiac disease or anything, but gluten just kind of makes you expand around your belly.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
But
it's delicious, as I say. That's the problem. So yeah, I mean, like sugar. I just read a recent article that sugar. They say the human body is never meant to process sugar.
Right.
It wasn't designed to process any sugars. And so we eat all the sugar. Only the liver can actually process it. And all it can do is turn it into body fat. So sugar is one of the worst things I've heard. And so, that's a problem we have, especially here in America, because everything is sugar in it. You can't go out and eat a hamburger because the bun is like so high in sugar and carbs that it's crazy.
Well, and I read the bottle on my favorite verde salsa, and it's got high fructose corn syrup in it, so I had to change.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, oh, no wonder it's got sugar in it.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, that's crazy. So obviously today you've picked a good one. I think it's going to be a home run topic because it's the Secure Act 2.0. It seems like just the other day we were talking about the Secure Act, the first one, but I guess it's been like 3 years. So an update was in order, and I know there's a lot of good information in this one. Obviously, this is going to be an important subject
I'm going to stop you right there, Tony. We're talking about withdrawals from your 401ks and IRAs.
Oh,
We talked
I'm
about that one last time.
I'm on last week's show. Oh, Mitch, for the radio listeners, Mitch will be able to edit that out. For our video listeners, you got a little insight into my brain fog from all the influenza last week and the medication I'm still on. I guess I can blame the Tamiflu, right?
The Tamiflu.
Yeah, yeah. So we're
Oh,
talking
the
about sugar. I got excited, and then I had the wrong notes in front. I'm a week behind. What am I gonna do, right? I mean,
No.
oh, all right. So, what are we talking about today? You tell me.
So what we're talking about today is
401ks.
how to pay less on 401k and IRA withdrawals,
Right.
because a lot of our retirement funds are tied up in those, and we want to avoid any penalties or extra taxes.
Ah, there you go. We do, of course. And a lot of people don't understand all the rules that go along with 401ks or retirement plans, especially those employer sponsored retirement plans like 401ks, 403bs, 457s, what have you. So I'm anxious to dig into this one today.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about how. First, we're going to start with withdrawal penalties. So that's the biggest thing.
Oh, yeah.
If you take a withdrawal from a traditional IRA before you turn 59 and a half, there's a 10% early withdrawal penalty. That's huge.
Yeah.
Don't do that. So you may be able to take some penalty-free withdrawals from your 401k after you're 55, and if you're not in job anymore. So with that particular 401k account when you're 55 or older. So there's some specific rules for those, but not IRAs. You need to avoid those early IRA withdrawal penalties. So if you have a really, really good reason, like a significant medical bill or a college expense, or to purchase your first home, there are some special rules for IRAs that you avoid the withdrawal penalty. Now, you still pay the taxes that are due, but you won't pay that penalty.
Yeah, there you go. Well, penalties can kill you. Not only do you have to pay taxes when you take the money out of most of these retirement accounts, not all, but most, and you get stuck with a penalty. So you want to avoid that. I mean,
Right.
obviously, we want to save money on taxes when it comes time to take these retirement withdrawals, and a thorough strategy for retirement withdrawals or retirement income is so important. I think it's another
Yes.
great reason to work closely with you and Tara on this.
Yeah. So that's a good point. If you have needs and you want to do things, come see your financial professional like myself, and they can help you navigate that and figure out the best way to get access to funds. So the next thing I'm going to talk about is 401k without tax withholdings. So you can roll over your 401k into another avenue so that you don't have to pay taxes. So if you withdraw your money from 401k, and if you change jobs or you're just no longer working there, 20% will be withheld to cover income taxes. So if you don't put that entire distribution that you took when you took that withdrawal um, into a new retirement account, you may owe income tax as well as the early withdrawal penalty on the amount of money you've taken out. So you may be able to you can avoid that easily by rolling over that 401k directly into another 401k or a personal IRA. We can help you set up that personal IRA to roll that in. If you're done working and you're not doing going to another job to have another 401k, I highly recommend the personal IRA that you roll the money into, so you have a easy access control with that. So income taxes are not withheld in cases of trustee to trustee transfers, and that's what happens when you roll it in to a personal IRA.
Interesting. Well, and that's good to know. You don't want to make costly mistakes, and you want to be able to roll over that without incident or penalty. And that is another reason to work with somebody like yourself. Now, since we're talking about withdrawals in retirement, and that's what people do, they withdraw money from these retirement accounts to live on. I assume RMDs, or required minimum distributions, come into play here, right?
Yeah, that's a great question, Tony. So many of our listeners likely know this, that you're required to withdraw money from your traditional 401ks and IRAs once you turn 73. That's part of the new Secure Point 2 Act that changed it to 73. So the penalty for missing an RMD is 25% of the total that should have been withdrawn, in addition to the income tax that's due on the withdrawal. So there's a 25% penalty. That's pretty hefty.
Ouch.
They lowered it. It used to be 50%. So this is nice. They're a little bit nicer.
They lowered
now.
it in what? The Secure Act 2.0. I told you we were
Secure-
talking about that today. See?
That's right. It Secure 2.0 has a lot to do with how you spend your retirement income. So it's an important law, and so it has changed things a little bit. So we have that podcast up on the radio page.
Yeah, we do.
Check that out.
In fact, I liked it so much I tried to do it again today. Yeah.
So if you do something like you withdraw, or you don't take the withdrawal on time, if you correct the mistake as quickly as you can, they may have they may be nice to you and say, well, we'll change that penalty down to 10%.
Wow.
So if you do have a problem, fix it as soon as you can, and you maybe get that penalty worked down to 10%.
Yeah, sometimes they're lenient and don't make you pay a penalty, but it sounds like they're going to probably, since they're lowering the penalty, they'll probably enforce it more as well, because
that's true.
Yeah.
I think a lot of times they would let people slide if they took it as soon as they found out, and it wasn't
right.
The whole next year or something.
Yeah, and the RMD age is going to jump to 75 in 10 years. So that's amazing.
Yeah, that's right. 2033, it'll jump to 75. And that just reflects how much older that we're getting. And so people need to have their funds for longer. And so they've made that to help us be able to manage our own funds longer.
Right. Yeah. Well, and a higher RMD age, if it's 10 years down the road, is probably something a number of our listeners are excited about, because it gives them more freedom, right?
It makes me excited.
Yeah.
So the next piece of advice is to make sure you don't accidentally take two distributions in the same year. So this, when you take your first distribution, you can wait until April 15th of the year after you turn 73. I highly recommend you don't wait until after December 31st of that year, because you're going to have to take another distribution before December 31st of that same year.
So if you do that, they give you a leeway the first year into the next year. But if you wait, if you take advantage of that and don't pay it until the year after you turn 73, you have to pay two that year, which could affect your taxes. And you take that RMD, that's going to affect your taxes, because more than likely it's a taxable account, unless it's a Roth. So the RMDs are from taxable accounts. That's why they make you take them. So that could put you even in another tax bracket. So that's where you come in as a financial advisor to help people from making these mistakes, right?
That's right. I mean, if you're having to take something like $15,000 and you take it twice in the same year, that's $30,000 that could easily put you into a new tax bracket. But it makes you have to plan to pay those taxes at the end of the year. And if you haven't planned for that, then you've got to take the RMD early for the following year so that you can pay the taxes. And then you got it becomes a little bit of a cycle of paying taxes.
Yeah. I would assume so. Now, if I'm recalling correctly, some people may want to discuss beginning withdrawals before. Don't wait until you're 73 necessarily, because you might want to spread it out over time, and that's something that they should talk to you about as well, right?
Yes, it really is. So while you don't have to begin taking money from a traditional retirement account until you're turned 73, taking smaller distributions while you're perhaps in your 60s and early 70s may help you spread your tax bill over years so that you stay in that lower tax bracket. And if you can stay right now tax bracket, there's a 12% tax bracket, and then the next one is 22%. So that's a 10% jump. So if you can keep all that income that you're taking from your 401k or IRA withdrawals, you can stay in that lower tax bracket.
Sure.
And the more predictable our income is in retirement, the happier we are going to be. I don't care how much money you're going to have in retirement. If it's predictable for you, you know what you're going to have, and you know that you can take care of any bumps in the road with some of your savings, then that will make for a happy retirement. And that is my goal for everybody, to have a happy retirement.
Well, and on that note, I think that's great. And on that note, let's give the listeners some information. Chris, tell them how they can get a hold of you and set up a complimentary, no cost, no obligation consultation to get a plan in place.
So listeners can visit our website at nolanfinancialpartners.com, or they can call my office at 719-210-4242. Ask about any questions you have, any concerns about retirement withdrawals, or any other parts of your financial strategy. We've set aside some complimentary consultations. We do that with every radio show. Mention the radio show when you call in, and we'll get you that complimentary consultation.
All right. And today on Nolan Financial Radio, we're talking about how to save on retirement withdrawals and the ins and outs of making retirement withdrawals from those retirement accounts. And it's been good. What's another way? What's next on the agenda?
So here's something a lot of my clients really like, is they donate part of their IRA distribution to charity. And therefore because they're charitable anyway, it's a really good option. And when you do that, you can avoid paying the income tax on that IRA withdrawal. So it can be as much as $100,000 to $200,000 for couples per year that they donate to charity. So a qualifying charitable donation has to be paid directly from your IRA to the qualified charity. So all my clients come to me for the forms so that they can make sure they get it right, and we get it to the right charity. And then I usually call the charity and say, hey, did you get our stuff?
Yeah, exactly.
Because we want to make sure that it does get to them. Most of the charities that my clients donate to are very personal to them. And so they want to get that IRA charitable distribution, save on their taxes, but really they want to support that charity. I mean, that's their main reason to do it.
Yeah, and that's important.
Yep. And you know, you're older, you have money, and you want to help people.
Yeah, I think that's huge. And, you know, as something you've mentioned in the past is that a lot of your clients do have causes and organizations that they support, that they care a lot about. So it's a solid option, not only for tax purposes, but for really doing good and giving back. And it's something that you shouldn't do without talking to a financial advisor like yourself to make sure that it's handled in the right way and gets done.
Yep, that's right. Because we can ensure the end-to-end of the money movement, and making sure that you're staying within the rules of the withdrawal, and making sure you get the tax numbers for those charitable organizations on the documents. Because if you don't have that, then it'll be disallowed. So you got to have all the correct information about those organizations on those documents, or the IRS can disallow that that contribution.
Yeah. So what's next?
So putting some of your retirement savings in an after-tax Roth is something I help a lot of my clients do. So that way, so while you're, say, after you retire, before you hit 73, you can move money and stay in your same tax bracket. You move money out of your IRA and into your Roth. And so we design a schedule on the best ways to do that. Now, there's a lot of factors for this because of Medicare and different things that your income affects, right? So we've got to manage your income so that it fits within what your goals are for that retirement. But if we can move money from an IRA to a Roth, it's a very powerful thing, because the Roth account has no RMD requirement. The Roth account, when you pull money from it, there's no taxes. So if you have a bump in the road and need more money, a Roth IRA, you can pull from that and not have a tax hit just because you had to replace the windows in your house or something like that. And so it's a great thing for retirement that to have some money in an account
in a tax-free bucket.
Absolutely tax-free. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the beauty. I mean, the Roth is so great because it grows tax-free, all that compounding interest.
Yeah.
And when you pull it out, you don't pay taxes on any of it. You don't have to pay taxes on the gains or the principal. When it's taken out, it's completely tax-free versus all those other traditional retirement accounts like traditional IRAs and traditional 401ks. When that money comes out, that's fully taxable. So that's really a joint account with Uncle Sam. He's going to get 20 to 30% of that. So you think,
I love those accounts.
Yeah. Yeah, right. So Roths are great. But for some people, there are some rules and regulations, and there may be downsides for certain people in certain situations, correct?
Yeah. So there are certain disadvantages, Tony. They don't fit neatly into everybody's financial strategies. So in my opinion, the biggest potential risk is that when you put money into a Roth account, whether it's from a 401k or an IRA, you're gambling that your tax bracket will be higher in the future. Well, what if it isn't? Remember, one of your goals would be to pay taxes on your money when your rate is at its lowest. So, for example, if you're currently in the 22% tax bracket, but your retirement tax bracket is, let's say, 12%, that's all of a sudden saving a lot less. So we really want to make sure that you're taking the best advantage of that movement, and people are aware of those disadvantages before making that final decision. So any money you pull from those IRAs and 401ks, you need to be very cognizant of how it affects your overall finances, your taxes, your Medicare payments, those kind of things.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. And I think my biggest takeaway regarding this decision about Roth IRAs or 401ks is that you need to work with a financial advisor, right? I mean,
yeah, these are very technical things, and so we stay up with the latest laws, obviously, like the Secure 2.0 Act, and so we will help make sure that these tax preferred investments are managed in the correct way. You don't get in trouble with IRS for moving the money, and you understand, you after meeting with us, you'll know exactly what those implications are to your overall financial situation. So that's what we help people do.
Yeah. So what's another way we can save on our retirement withdrawals?
So there's if you have tax preferred investments outside of your retirement accounts, that might be another way to save on your retirement withdrawals. So investments that create long-term capital gains get preferential treatment if they're kept outside of a retirement account. So, but if you put them in, then they go into the regular income tax rates. So that's something to consider when you are setting up your account, how things are done with those type of things. So you may lower your tax bill by keeping more highly taxed investments, including like treasury inflation, protected securities, corporate and government bonds, and funds that create short-term capital gains inside your retirement account. So those type of things, because they kick out that money, they're highly taxed. It's income based on, it's not based on income.
Yeah.
So I don't want to get too deep into this stuff. Because it's going to be highly individual. Most people don't really get into these type of securities. And so we have a few, but not too many. Most people use mutual funds because they're managed, or they come to us and we help them manage their assets in the market.
Yeah. I think that's a really good point. And I know that we've covered a lot. And I'm curious, just to go back for a minute before we end the show.
Mm-hmm.
You talked about the charitable donation aspect. Go just
Yeah.
a little bit more into detail on that.
So a quick recap on that. So a qualified charitable distribution, or QCD, we'll call it, is an IRA withdrawal that's paid directly from your IRA to a qualified charity. So step one is you ensure you meet the QCD requirements.
Yeah.
So as an IRA owner, you must be at least 70 and a half to make tax-free charitable donations.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so there's an age that comes with this. You just don't start doing it. People who meet the requirements are permitted to transfer as much as $100,000 annually from an IRA to an eligible charity without paying income taxes on that transaction. So that's a lot of money to move.
Yeah.
Now, if you file a joint return, you're both permitted to use that $100,000 limit. So that means if you're a couple, you can go up to $200,000 of your savings from your income taxes donated directly to a charity. And then you avoid all those taxes. So if you donate more than the allowed maximum, it's viewed as income. So that'll probably be subject to income tax. So be careful with that. Make sure your qualified charitable contributions are made by December 31st every year in order to exclude that amount. So that's the IRS rule. I will tell you, you need to get it done by December 15th, or your financial professional because he needs to get involved. I would just say go see them in November or very early December to get all the paperwork done and make sure that you have all the documents you need to make that qualified charitable contribution and ensure that it's done right.
Good advice right there. That's really good advice. Thanks for that, Chris. And I think it's great. We've covered a lot in today's show, but we're out of time. Is there anything else you want to add before we go today?
Yeah, I want to tell everybody you can reach us at 719-210-4242. You can check us out at our website, nolanfinancialpartners.com. While you're out there, check out our radio page. You can read up on that Secure 2.0 Act, or not read, listen about the Secure 2.0 Act. Just get in your car and listen to it and let it wash over you. But yeah, give us a call at 719-210-4242. We'll set up that complimentary consultation. Just mention the radio show when you call. Call anytime. Leave a message if we don't answer. We will get back with you.
All right. Well, that sounds great. And again, great show on how to save on your retirement withdrawals. I think this was a great topic, Chris. Listeners, that does it for today's episode of Nolan Financial Radio.
Join us for another episode of Nolan Financial Radio next time. Hey.